There is a thought most of us have had that we do not say out loud. He was commitment phobic for years, strung her along, couldn't decide, wouldn't show up. And then he meets someone new and he's engaged within a year. The husband who left his wife and kids, starts a second family, coaches Little League, shows up for everything. Father of the year. The mother who wasn't there the way she should have been is now pouring herself into other people's children. And something in us says, you don't get that. You already showed us who you are. You don't get to grow out of the exact thing that hurt me and then be wonderful for someone else. I want to talk about that thought today. Not to shame you for having it, because honestly, I've had it too. We all have. But because I feel like sometimes that feels like justice. And it quietly keeps us tied in the very story that we are trying to move from and survive. So here's the thing. The feeling underneath that thought, it's completely legitimate. When somebody hurts you, right? When someone's unavailable, absent, incapable of showing up, and then they appear to have learned and grown and become exactly the person that you needed them to be. But for someone else, that is a specific kind of pain that doesn't really have a clean name. It feels like I'm the one that paid for the lesson that they got to learn. It feels like my suffering was the tuition for somebody else's education. It feels like the universe got the math wrong, right? That feeling is real. It's not small and it's not petty. It is one of the most quietly devastating things I think that we can experience. Watching someone become for another person the version of themselves that you waited for. Honor that feeling. Go ahead, just feel it fully. But the belief that grows from that, the belief that the people that hurt us don't get to change. Okay, that's a different thing, right? And I just want us to be able to look at it honestly today. All right, here's what that belief requires of you in order to sustain it. It requires you to monitor someone else's life for evidence that they're still broken, they're still stuck, they're still paying. It requires you to feel relief when they struggle. And a particular quiet fury sets in when they don't. It requires you to become emotionally tethered to someone that you say you want nothing to do with. Sometimes what we call justice is really our attempt to feel like the pain has a reason. And while we're holding that, while we're watching, while we're measuring their life against ours as a benchmark about, has the universe finally gotten the math right here? What is happening in our own lives? So before I just want to go any further about this, let's just make this clear. I am not asking you to reconcile with the person who hurt you. I'm not asking you to trust them again. I am not saying that you should celebrate their new life, applaud their growth, or pretend that what they did to you was, useful, I guess. I'm not asking you to call it redemption, especially if they've never made repair with you. So if they never came back, if they never said, I'm sorry, and they meant it, and then showed you with actions that something had actually changed, okay, you don't owe anyone that. And I want to say something else while I'm here and be very clear about this. Changed behavior without accountability, it isn't redemption. It's definitely better optics. What I'm trying to ask for here is different. I want to know, do you really want to keep watching their life like the universe owes you a receipt? Because I hate to break it to you, that receipt, it's probably never coming. and the watching and the monitoring and the measuring and the quiet fury at their flourishing. That's not justice. That is just more of your life going to them. And okay, I'm going to be really careful here, especially as a woman of faith. Okay, forgiveness is not the same thing as access, okay? Love is not the same thing as proximity. I can forgive someone fully, completely, from the bottom of my toes, the way I believe that we are called to, but I don't have to hand them the keys to my daily life. I can love someone as a human being made in the image of God, and I can still tell the truth about what their presence does to my nervous system, my home, my peace, my own healing. Grace does not require denial. Grace requires love. And sometimes love tells the truth, locks the door, and prays from a distance. Okay? We're called to forgive. We are called to love. But we are not called to confuse forgiveness with access or love with the removal of wisdom. All right, let me be honest about where I'm sitting as I say this, okay? I'm not telling you this from the comfortable position of somebody who has only ever been the one who was hurt. I've been the one that has done the hurting too. There are years I can't go back and undo. There are rooms that I was in physically, but I wasn't emotionally there or available for people that really needed me. Moments where I looked really capable from the outside, yet the people who were really close to me were getting exhausted, defensive, half-present, broken versions of me. I have had to sit with the knowledge that people that I love deeply have probably looked at my life at points and thought exactly what I just described. She doesn't get that. Not in that lane. Not after what she did. And here's the hard thing that I've had to reckon with. They wouldn't have been wrong to feel that. But they're also not right to hold it forever. Certainly not for my sake, for theirs. Okay, here's what I've come to understand about the things that break us. Pain is not just a wound. It's also when we do the work in education, okay? If the commitment phobic man finally commits when he has actually faced himself, not because, maybe that she's easier or she's more flattering. Maybe he's just done real work, okay? Well, then that change can matter. Why not? And it's not to give the former wife something back that she lost or repair anything. She might not get any of that back. The years, the safety, the version of love that she deserved, that doesn't necessarily get returned. But real transformation can interrupt a pattern before it reaches someone else, okay? Before it reaches their children, before it becomes the water the next generation swims in without knowing. The parent who wasn't there, who was too fractured, too consumed by her own survival, and then who then turns that exact experience into something that reaches people who are maybe where her own children were. Okay, that's not abandonment repeated. That's redemption made useful. But only if the work is real, okay? Only if there's been honest reckoning, not just better behavior. Because changed behavior without the accountability isn't fully redemption. Again, it's just, we're talking optics. And so if you're the one that caused the harm, grace does not mean that you get to demand reunion. It means you receive the mercy of being allowed to become new by honoring at the same time the distance of the people your old self hurt. Okay, your becoming is not a claim on their forgiveness. It's an act of repentance, of stewardship, of love that does not require an audience. Okay, I want to speak now to a specific woman, okay? And it's not the one that's watching someone else's growth with resentment. It's the one that's watching her own. The woman that knows that she wasn't there the way she should have been. Who knows she caused harm. Who's sitting on something that maybe she could offer the world. Something that's born directly from what she went through and what she got wrong. And she's not offering it because she's waiting until she's paid enough. Can I ask you something? What does enough look like? How much longer does the suffering need to continue before you allow yourself to become useful? Before you allow yourself to take what broke you and build something with it? Before you allow yourself to be the person in the room who can say, I know. I have been there. Not theoretically. I was actually there. The becoming is not an escape from accountability. I truly believe it is what accountability is supposed to produce. You are allowed to grow. Hear that. You are allowed to be useful in exactly the lane where you once caused harm. And it is not to erase what happened. It's not to substitute for repair that is still owed, but because the world needs what only you can offer now. The people that you hurt may never need anything from you again, and you don't get to decide that. You do not get to insert yourself into their healing on your timeline. But the world still needs what your becoming can protect, and your continued suffering, it doesn't repair that. Your honest becoming might protect someone else. Stop requiring suffering as proof that something mattered. Stop monitoring their life for the receipt that the universe is never going to send you. And if the person that you have been withholding permission from, heaven forbid, is yourself, stop confusing suffering with repair. Man, most of us are carrying both. Wounds that we received, wounds that we caused, things we survived, things that we wish someone else had not had to survive because of us. The question is not, do you deserve to grow? The question is, what will you do with it when you do? The world does not need your suffering to continue in order for what happened to matter. It needs what you build from it. Choose something worthy. I'm Deb Gorbenko. This is Beauty Brains Bubbly Uncorked.